Hello guys, I am Agafor and welcome to a guide to ricochets and penetration in DayZ Standalone. In this video, we're going to investigate these 11 ammo types to help you determine which surfaces you can kill enemies through if you're protected behind a certain surface, how ricochets and penetration affect bullet velocity, and which ammo type of these ammo types are best for ricocheting and penetration kills. There are 4 common types of surface in DayZ: glass, wood, metal and stone. All of these surfaces can be penetrated by all ammo types but the 12 gauge buckshot. In fact, the 12 gauge doesn't ricochet off of or penetrate any surface or object in DayZ Standalone. But surface type isn't the only factor the engine considers when calculating when a bullet should ricochet or penetrate. There are 4 main factors that determine ricochets and penetration in DayZ Standalone: a surface's toughness, a surface's thickness, the angle of approach and bullet speed. A surface's toughness is based on what it's made of. Glass is weaker than wood, wood is weaker than metal, and metal is weaker than stone, with stone in most cases stopping every bullet thrown at it. As an example for surface thickness, with all ammo types you cannot shoot through these stone walls dotted around the map. You can, however, shoot through the corner of one because it's not as thick in the corners. The angle of approach is basically the angle at which you shoot the surface. Angle of approach determines whether a bullet will penetrate, stop dead in its tracks, or ricochet. And finally, bullet speed, which determines if a bullet should penetrate any given surface. Now, glass, wood and metal in DayZ is in most cases extremely thin, such as metal sheds, wooden doors and obviously panes of glass, all of which can be shot through with deadly effect with each ammo type. But when you shoot through anything, a bullet will slow down based on the toughness, thickness and angle of approach. When a bullet does slow down, its dispersion is increased and it does less damage because it slows down, as we discovered in my bullet velocity video. Anyway, here's an example of dispersion after penetration. As we all know, the 22 round is pretty weak, where when penetrating 2 panes of glass that are parallel to each other at 90 degrees, the dispersion is enough to not hit a target at less than 10 meters. And here's an example of angle of approach affecting dispersion even more. We sprayed a 5.56 round through these garage doors. The first door has a very low spread, the second door has increased spread, and the final door has a very high spread. This spread wouldn't be so great if the doors were exactly parallel to each other. We then went ahead and tested each ammo type on these doors and got these results. Suppressors didn't make a difference to these results. It would seem that they only increased dispersion very slightly when attached. We also tested the Blaze 95, Winchester and Longhorn using this method, all using the .38 round, and got the same results, so penetration is not based on barrel length. The main factor in determining how much a bullet penetrates a given surface is bullet speed, as tested from roughly 300 meters away with a 5.45 round. Up close, the 5.45 round penetrates 3 doors, whereas at 300 meters, it only penetrates 2. In knowing that bullet speed is reduced after penetration, it must also reduce the bullet's damage based on the results we got in the previous video in this series. To test this, I was shot in the leg with a 7.62x39 round without penetration, through 1 door and then through 2 doors, remembering that 7.62x39 round only penetrates 2 doors. Here are the results. The difference between no doors and 1 door is very minimal, a 7% damage reduction, whereas with 2 doors the damage is reduced by 33%. These results not only further prove that bullet speed equals bullet damage, but also tells us that the 5 fastest rounds in game, these rounds shown here, will give you the best results when shooting through surfaces. These 5 rounds also have the lowest chance of ricocheting at shallow angles. Red indicates the angle of ricochet, black indicates the dead zone where a bullet doesn't penetrate or ricochet, and finally green shows us the angle of penetration. Now, these tests were done on a metal surface, but wooden surfaces have a lower chance of ricocheting a bullet and more chance to penetrate, whereas a stone surface has a very high chance to ricochet a bullet. A good rule of thumb here is, the steeper the angle of penetration, the faster a round will come out the other side. The faster a round comes out the other side, obviously the more damage it will do. So out of all of these rounds, the 4.5 and 3.57 rounds are the best for ricocheting, but ricocheting to hit a target is very difficult due to dispersion caused by ricocheting. Now, unless you're MLG Pro, I would not recommend wasting rounds trying to ricochet kill someone, because the amount of dispersion after ricocheting is damn insane. However, shooting a round next to someone causes them to immediately go out of breath and causes a small amount of shock damage. This looks to affect anyone within a 1 meter radius of where the bullet hit, even if it's a ricochet or even if they are on the other side of a wall. In conclusion then, after watching this guide, unless you knew all of this already, you are likely to look at surfaces in DayZ in a different light, judging what you can penetrate through with the ammo that you're currently using. However, it would take a very long time for me to tell you exactly which objects you can and cannot shoot through. Instead, I've come up with a few examples. No round can shoot through these thin concrete walls, through any house walls even if made of wood, most large world objects such as cargo containers and these metal tanks, through the fire station doors for some reason, or through players or zombies. But you can shoot through a lot of stone ceilings in game, this porch on this house, through trash cans, through any shed made of wood or metal, and through any door in game. You can shoot through trees, but only the very thin part of a tree. Everywhere else on the tree stops every type of ammo. Basically, it's going to take you time to discover what you can shoot through and what you cannot, including myself. But now you have the knowledge of how ricochets and penetration work in DayZ, you can find out yourself quite easily. Thank you for watching, have fun penetrating players in DayZ, and I will see you in the next video.